Welcome to this edition of Psychic Tips, How-Tos, and Tutorials, where it's all about helping you unlock your psychic potential. The topic of today's vlogcast is how to trust your gut. I met up with a colleague for lunch this past week, and we had a marvelous conversation about learning how to trust the voice of your intuition. How do I know if this is a psychic hit or just me making this up? As a professional channel, as well as a mentor in the psychic arts, this is without a doubt the number one question people ask me. Perhaps you, like me, have at one time or another had the same experience. Is this my intuition or my imagination, you ask yourself. So how do you know whether it's your intuition or your imagination? Fortunately, there are concrete telltale signs when your intuition is a true psychic hit, or if it's merely your imagination catering to the outcome you want most. My name is Dar Payment, and I'm a professional psychic medium and channel who is passionate about sharing with you how to accelerate your psychic abilities. So, is this your intuition or your imagination? Learning to distinguish between intuition versus imagination is the most important skill to learn if you really want to deepen your intuitive ability, but to also deepen your trust with your guardian angels and your spirit guides. Learning how to trust your gut is also essential to practical intuitive living, as well as your trust in divine source. So in this vlogcast, you and I are going to explore how to distinguish whether or not your impressions are a true expression of your intuition, or if they're an expression of your ego mind. I will also share with you two simple yet powerfully effective techniques that will enable you to tune into the body-mind with your heart in order to receive higher spiritual guidance. First, let me share with you a true story. It was the summer of my 16th birthday, and my best friend and I were deciding whether or not to make an appointment with the Department of Motor Vehicles for our driving tests. Trust your gut, my friend's father said to us. Trust your gut? What does that mean? My friend asked. It means going inside and feeling if taking the test now is the right time for you or not. That was great advice. And what I've learned throughout the years is that trusting your gut is more than merely tuning into your emotional feelings, which can be clouded by fear and the wants of the ego mind. Trusting your gut goes a bit further than that, because trusting your gut is also tuning into your physical body as well as your intuition. What I've discovered through personal observation and application is that there's a distinct voice attached to your true intuition versus the voice of your ego mind. So let's take a deeper look at how each voice communicates with you. First, let's take a look at the voice of the ego mind. The ego mind is the part of you that is concerned with what you want, what you think, and what you feel. Your ego isn't a bad thing, but many times your intuition can be blocked due to conflicts with your own desires, expectations, and even biases towards a particular outcome. This is why many people have difficulty when performing an intuitive reading on themselves. What do I mean? Well, let me share with you a true life example I had with a client last week. I'll call my client Rosie, which is obviously not her real name. But Rosie presented herself for a channeled reading to obtain clarity about a certain relationship. Rosie told me that she was a psychic newbie and that she recently attended an angel intuitive workshop. She stated that she was having trouble knowing if the information she received from the angel card reading she had done on herself was accurate or not. Her purpose for our session together was for validation. What we discovered was that Rosie expected and desperately wanted a particular relationship to manifest. When I did my own reading for her, my spiritual team told me more than once that this relationship was not beneficial for her and that it no longer served her highest good. So I asked Rosie to go back to the reading she performed for herself and to notice how her inner voice spoke to her. I then explained the following. The voice of the ego mind is bossy, envious, negative, unsupportive, selfish, mean-spirited, greedy, and just concerned with self-gratification. It brings with it a feeling of superiority and a sense of false entitlement. The action this voice suggests is often selfish, is not supported by true facts, but by emotion, and steps on the rights of others. I then asked Rosie if any of these traits showed up in her own interpretation of the angel card reading she performed on herself. Her eyes lit up with complete surprise as she had an aha moment. "Dar," she said, "my inner voice was totally selfish and full of jealousy. As a matter of fact, my question was whether or not my ex-boyfriend would dump his current girlfriend and get back with me. My inner voice responded with anger and jealousy, and one of the things I thought I was intuiting that the cards were saying to me was, 'He's such a jerk for breaking up with you in the first place. How dare he be with somebody like her? What a personal insult to you.'" This sort of conflict of interpretation occurs not only with neophyte students of intuition either, as seasoned students of the psychic arts often fall prey to what's called confirmation bias. The most important thing you must realize in terms of your intuitive voice is that you're either operating out of love or fear. On the other hand, the voice of true intuition is always loving, gentle, kind, supportive, and uses positive language. It brings with it a feeling of inner peace, love, and courage, and the action suggested by this voice is always mutually beneficial, loving, and supportive. So how is this all tied into your gut feelings? As I stated previously, trusting your gut is tuning into the voice of your true intuition, as well as the physical feelings or sensations inside the body. Your body has a built-in flight or fight mechanism that's meant to protect you from harm's way. And what's even more interesting is the discovery in mind-body science, which reveals that your body cannot lie to you. Think back to a time when you had an inner knowing that something bad was going to happen. More often than not, you experience a physical sensation inside of your body corresponding with that feeling. And for many people, this manifests as a knot in your stomach, a pounding heart, sweating, and an unexpected, creepy feeling. Now, think back to a time when you had an inner knowing that something good was about to happen. Where did you feel it in your body? For many people, the physical experience in the body is a warm, peaceful, or loving feeling inside the heart. However, as I mentioned earlier, trusting these physical sensations alone are not always accurate because, once again, the ego mind can come into play and provide negative sensations due to hidden subconscious fears, which cloud your true voice of intuition. So what's the solution? How do you discern the true voice of your intuition? Well, here are two powerfully effective ways to tune into your body-mind in order to determine whether the guidance you're receiving is from the true voice of your intuition or from wishful thinking. The first thing is to quiet your mind and relax your physical body. In order to sense physical sensations, as well as hear your true intuitive voice, you must be open and receptive. And when the physical body relaxes, your breathing deepens and your mind automatically begins to still. The voice of your intuition often speaks in low, gentle whispers. And to discern its wisdom, you must learn to become quiet. And so the quickest way to do this is to perform some rhythmic, deep breathing, as well as progressive muscle relaxation just prior to tuning into your intuition. The second thing is to ask the right questions, and more specifically to ask this question. Without any thoughts, fears, judgments, or projections, what do I see, feel, hear, or know about this situation? This question is amazing because it bypasses the conscious and subconscious mind chatter, enabling you to activate your personal power. And after you ask yourself that question, write the information you received down onto a piece of paper. Then look at what you've written. What's the tone of your inner voice? Is it loving or fearful? Where do you feel it in your body? And if you feel the need for additional confirmation, follow up with your question with your trusted divination tools, such as your oracle or tarot cards, or with your pendulum. And if your divination method confirms what you've written, you've accessed the true voice of your intuition. And if it doesn't match up for some reason, take a step back, relax your body and mind fully, and then try again. Learning how to trust your gut is a prerequisite skill for living an intuitive life, and trusting your intuition builds up trust and intimacy with your guardian angels, your spirit guides, and with Divine Source. So give yourself permission to respond to the universe's call to divine intimacy by training yourself to discern the true voice of your intuition starting today, and watch as your life fragrantly unfolds around you, petal by petal. If you enjoyed this vlogcast, I invite you to like and subscribe, and I'll make sure to give you more tools, techniques, and how-tos to help you live the psychic life. This is Dara Payment wishing you blessings, love, and light.